Assalamu alaikum. My name is Gazim from Muslim Hustle, and I have here Ma'ruf Yusupov from Land, Halal Ad, and as of late, Cloudy Email. Ma'ruf, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Honored to be here.
So just to give you an idea of Ma'ruf's current activities, he has with Land, he's got 350,000 members as of today, or about. With Halal Ad, he has served 200 million or more than 200 million ads in the last 15 months or so, and he's been launching Cloudy Email. So today we're going to get some lessons about business and life, risk, and failure from Ma'ruf, inshallah. Ma'ruf, can you take us to the background of how you started Land?
Sure. We started like 3 years. I guess it's 3 or 4 years because we lost the track of time, right? It was 2013. It was a time that I was kind of fed up with my corporate job. It was also the time one of my co-founders, he just finished his IT degree in Sweden, who came to Denmark to look for a job. So, we used to sit down and think about, what could we do? Like you just shared your story, right? You want to do something that makes an impact, a positive change in the world. Let's put it this way. So you can earn a living here, and also it affects your hereafter. And I was telling my friend, look, listen, I work at a corporate job, which is good, alhamdulillah, which pays well, but I don't see a kind of purpose, to move forward. I want to do something different. If you want to get a job like this, you're more than welcome. Just go and get a job. But I'm just telling you, I've been there. You don't want to go there. Or we can do something together, right? So we said, okay, we're going to do something. So what should we do? And, we're like naive people, when you start like, okay, what should we do? We just take one of the biggest challenges that no one is trying to tackle. So we said, okay, what we're going to do is at that point, we just, okay, what is the main issue is what we saw it was like, the negative image of Islam and Muslims in the media and the current space. So how can we make a change? And one of the ways we thought was, hey, why don't we create like a social network? Where Muslims come together, they get to know each other, so they can inspire and share the good news as well, not only the bad things what's happening around. That's why we started the Land project like 4 years ago. Alhamdulillah, while we saw a lot of growth with the things we did, is again, I think one of the things interesting about the project we had was we are just a couple of programmers, designers, whatever you call them, without any just jumping right into the thing, right? Without thinking too much without thinking, planning, without taking the investors. So it's like you make a tawakkul, it's going to work out, and we just jump and do it. You're more interested in doing than thinking about and pondering upon. So alhamdulillah, we see a growth even today. But one of the challenges we understood in Land is it's a huge project. If you do want to search for social media network, that we learned that if you want to make it work, you have to get a lot of outside investment, for many years to make it work. So until now, we haven't been able to secure any funds for the project. So about 2015, right, 2 years ago, like 1.5 years ago, in October. What we're saying is, okay, now we took the project as far as it could. But since we have to also make sure it works, because one of the things in business is you have to make sure it works, it brings value. At the same time, it also have to create some value for the co-founders so they can sustain. Because, we have a family, you have this, it should work. So one of the things we were thinking of, why don't we create an ad platform? Like, to speed up our earnings,
Okay.
From the Land.
So, sorry, before we get into the ad platform.
Yeah. Sorry.
This
is the story.
Hey, do you mind sharing with us why you're wearing a jacket?
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? We're based in Denmark.
Okay.
And today is a pretty cold day, and I'm to do this interview. I'm not with the team in the office, which could be some noises. I'm not actually in the hall. We sit in a big place. So this place seems to be cold, and that's why I have my jacket on. It's not to be fancy or something. It's like practical thing.
Right. Thank you, Ma'ruf. I appreciate you doing this in the cold hallway there. I appreciate it. Now, in terms of, like, a lot of people hate their 9-to-5 jobs and they complain about it. But what gave you the idea to start a business? Were you raised in an environment where business was valued? Like, did you grow up seeing your parents running a business, your uncle, or did you have some sort of inspiration back when you were growing up?
Um, that's a good one, right? I think for me personally, I I was brought up as with a single parent, right, with my mom. So I come also from Uzbekistan originally. So from where I come from, I kind of learned to be the man in the family probably at a very early age. I remember doing my first business when I was 7 years old, just starting school. Because it was the simple, it's not because of, oh, you want to do, you don't want to do, but it's something you have to do. If you want to survive, if you want to live, you have to think out of the box and you have to do something. In my case, so I have to open my first business. It was like when I was 7 years old. So, I mean, in that case, it's something starting a business is not something new. For me, I guess. Does that answer your question?
What did you start at 7? What were you selling?
Yeah, that's good. I was selling balloons, actually.
Balloons.
Yeah,
Who were
because
you selling these balloons to?
to my friends.
Just at school.
Yeah, I think it's cool because we lived in the
Uh-huh.
old town, and so there are a lot of people are going, coming to the bazaar, what's called the market, and then
Yeah.
back and forth. So I thought, why don't you just put up balloons or something on the way where people are going, not in the bazaar. They don't have the money. So I went to the market. I bought 100 balloons. It's very cheap, Then I put it where we live, just outside our house. I tried to sell to my friends. So I was actually, imagine if I was buying the balloon like 10 cents and I was selling this for 100 things. I was selling each balloon for 1 cent. I was doing a good profit at the time.
That's some
I
good
was selling to my
margins.
friends. They were happy. I was happy, So I was putting some bread on the table as well.
So did you get this idea from somebody else? Did you see somebody else do this?
Ah, that's a good question. I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember, but I mean, it just seems fun to me. I was trying to do something fun. I was making my friends happy at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So that's a really cool background story. Did you start anything else after the balloons?
Yeah, I mean, not because then once we saw the balloons were working, I was doing this after I come to school, right? And I said, hey, why don't I employ my mom? So I was employing my mom once I was school. I not only balloons, then I would begin to, started selling gums and all this stuff, Started selling those stuff. While I was gone, I was actually hiring my mom, and she was sitting there doing this stuff. So it's kind of running a small business. It ran for a couple of years. It was helping us to do this. And later, when I actually was into the university as well, I went into the capital to Tashkent. So again, I have to support myself. So what I did is I ended up, buying a computer and installing in my dormitory, and I was helping out the students there to do the different stuff, printing out and all the similar jobs. So this way I don't have to depend on my family, so I have to work on my own. And this way I used to study economics, but I found it very theoretical.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I ended up with the computers, And also supporting myself, alhamdulillah. So it went all the way through, I have to support myself. That's how I came up with this different businesses, I guess.
So you had a taste. It's not like you thought of a business idea like out of the blue. You had a taste for business, and then you were thinking, okay, here's a decision I need to make: either get another job or stay at my current job, or I could start my own business. At the time, you had a family. The reason I know this is because I have watched your video with Irfan, and that was a great research product for me. So I should thank him. Um, right, you had a family when you were starting out Land. Did you?
Sure.
How much savings did you have? Did you How were you thinking of supporting your family?
Sure. Because one of the things when we started Land, right? I didn't, because there is one people that get it wrong, right? Because they think to do their job, to do their whatever they call, they want the business, whatever. They think they have to quit something, right? Totally, and they start something right away, which is not a wise solution. Because we have a proverb saying, "Do not destroy your old house before you build a new one." right? So in my case, the way it worked was I was consulting to a couple of companies, right?
Okay.
So that consulting didn't go away; just it was a part-time thing.
Right.
And then I was trying to build a thing. So that's why it was like a big blow for me, for my family. That's why I could do this is the way we did. So yeah, not necessarily like a lot of savings, but I had something on the side as a part-time thing, as a consultant.
I see. So you were doing consulting part time, and then you were working on Land part time.
Yes. So that's the way I suggest everyone as well. I mean, even someone is listening, they want to, as you said, they want to start their own business. Don't drop whatever you have right now and start on music, right? Take it as a slow. Just try it, go to try. Maybe you end up something, do some. You think you want to do something. Once you try it, if it's a part time, you'll figure out that you don't like it.
Right.
So don't throw away everything. Just start slowly. Even sometimes some people suggest go and learn from the people who are trying to do this. Maybe they're already doing this stuff and trying to walk in their shoes in a day or two. You begin to understand. Because sometimes, for example, imagine you want to be a gardener, right? You think, I want to work with the flowers and this and this. If you actually go and work with the gardener for a day or two, you understand they're not just picking up flowers and smelling all the time, right? What they're doing is they're doing a bunch of other stuff maybe you don't see. Maybe you assume it's like that. Once you understand that, then you can put things up and down. Is this something what I really want to be or not? Maybe you don't. Maybe you do. If you do, good for you. Then just go do that. If you don't, then you try something else. So You can do things smartly. You don't have to jump and go and do stuff not in the proposed way.
How did you decide to? The friend you knew, did you know him from Uzbekistan, or how did you?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to business partners, so one of the things important is you need to know the person. I think it's like a marriage.
Right.
You have to know the person pretty well, because otherwise he may backfire. After a couple of years, So yeah, with this person especially, alhamdulillah, we have known each other like 14, 15 years. We've been school friends. He's been studying. So yeah, we've known him for quite a while. Alhamdulillah.
In the interview with Irfan, you mentioned that you have to really like a person to work with them together. How is it? Do you have to like everything about the person? Do you what criteria do you have? What criteria should you have?
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing about the people, right? Because one, for example, like you and me, right? We know each other for a very short time.
Right.
I kind of like you, right? Because I know very limited things.
Yeah.
But the question is, can you be the same with the same person for 3 days in a row?
Right.
Right? At the same place, and can you still work your way out? This is what I mean. Because don't get me wrong, it's like we argue almost not every day, maybe at least a couple of times a week with my co-founders, right? But the end goal is always, do we find a solution together? Because most of them, their programmers. I come from another program. I'm more like into user experience and design and marketing, right? There are a lot of conflicts, but at the end of the day, can we put things into one ball and to make it work? So if you can make it work, this is what I call, I like a person, so we can work together. Not necessarily I have to agree with the person with everything they say, not every matter, but at the end of the day, can we find a way,
right.
To make it work? This is what I mean. I hope it makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you started off as 50 partners?
Yes, that's a good question. I think in this business we started, no, we would not do that in the 50 business, because sometimes it makes sense to do 50-50. Because let's say everyone, because I believe the fair way of doing this, splitting the work is based on how much input you do at any given point, right? Mm-hmm. In our case, it's different. The reason is also different. In my case, for example, my co-founders, they need funds, and they were willing to put out their time. In my case, I didn't need the funds. I was willing to actually put funds into the business.
Right.
Does it make sense? So otherwise, and time-wise, we are doing the same. But resources-wise, I was putting a lot of resources up until even now. I put a lot of resources back to the company rather than getting back. So, but for them, some of them get part-time salaries, some of them get full-time salaries. So our percentages are different, but I hope it makes sense.
Yeah. So the initial investment in Ummah Land, what are we talking about? How much did you have to invest?
No, in the initial investment, it was not a lot of substantial, because we had the core things like the developers and designers. We built the thing initially, but ongoing to make it forward. There are
Right.
server costs, there are salaries, and this were coming from my most majority of the from the money either we make from Umaland or either my own resources.
How were you thinking of making money with Umaland?
The mainly it was and it still is the advertisement, advertising.
Okay. And you were
That's
using.
why actually.
Sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. And you were saying you were asking you were.
Oh, were you using the Google advertisement platforms?
No. We wanted to use our own because we didn't want to depend on Google. Because one of the issues with Google is you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right. Yeah. One of the examples that I have for that is that I have a Quran app, and they were using ads, and in it there was like inappropriate ads, which is like very
Exactly.
off-putting. So
Exactly.
right
That's why we're creating Khaled, right?
now, okay, Ma'ruf, you've got a different mental makeup than most people. Let me give you an example. I feel because I saw the problem of Facebook and the issue of the Muslims and how certain things are not necessarily Islamic in Facebook. You have this encouragement of certain activities and so on. I did not go start Land, but you did.
Because we're crazy. I told you. Yeah, you're being real naive. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I agree what you're saying.
What about, like, is it your ability to take on risk? Like, what made you think you can take on Facebook?
I told you. It's about the question is why not? Who will? Who else? I don't know. Sometimes it may sound like naiveness or naivety, how you call it, or sometimes it's like too much confidence in yourself. But I mean, if you look at it this way, right? Because like one of the quotes I like about Steve Jobs is I cannot quote exactly what he says is about probably 95%, maybe 98, 90 something percent of people they look at the world and they say, okay, I'm in it. People may this is this company, this is this thing. I'm just gonna lead my way out of it. But once you look at the things, right? Once you look at the things around you, just look at around your things, even the computers, everything. Mm-hmm. And once you understand this are actually made of people just like you, right? Once it was an idea, then it came to insights and production and fruition. Once you actually can poke things, can change them, you believe in such, then you will have a different perspective. And you say, hey, why don't I go and make one instead of use one? You see, it's like in our world, what we call consumers and creators, right? That's basically the main difference, I guess. Are you a consumer or are you a creator in a way, designer,
right?
I call it. Does it make sense?
Yes, indeed. How would you suggest somebody, like if somebody has not thought about being a creator, how can they become a creator from being a consumer?
I think in our essence, each of us have the power to create and design things. I think it's all about the mindset, that you realize you are one, or you're not. I mean, every time you speak, every time you think, this is this thought going on, right? Every time you are designing, you are thinking, you are creating something. But most of us, we don't take action on it. And we think, oh, who are we? Who are we to do this? Who are we to do that and this and that? But instead, if you ask the question, I am this, I can make this happen, But of course, it's something, you cannot change it right away. You just have to build your mentality, I think, one small step at a time. Does it make sense? Just take it one small thing, make it up, and you have to build your confidence. Just keep it up, move it upwards, I guess.
So initially, you started Land. You and your friend were developing and doing all the work, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you start bringing other people on board?
We did probably in the beginning. We started not 2 but 3 people anyway. So there were 2 other co-founders as well. But the bringing more people probably after a couple of months.
Okay.
Help.
And that's when it came to you investing your money to pay these developers, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What market research did you do? Did you look at competitors that existed before then in the space?
Yeah, not too much, but a little bit. We understood who are in the market, but in the end, our insight was, I was like just like you know, use Facebook. You know, sometimes it can be a lot of time wasted, right?
Right.
Like I said, okay, is this something I'm gonna build for myself? Is it something I'm gonna build for myself or for my kids? You know, is something they will be using? And the answer was yes, and that's really how we started building it.
Okay. So then time came for marketing and advertising and getting the word out. How did you do that?
In our product, it was built in a way. Once you join, you can invite other people. You know,
Okay.
that's the virality in built in, and people were, you know, inviting people. And even today, we have over 1 million Muslim emails that were invited. You
Oh,
know,
I see.
so this it was built in the product itself.
How are people invited? Do I have to enter their email address? Can I invite them from
Not
Facebook?
necessarily. Not necessarily. We built up a special plugin so you can connect with the Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever.
Ah,
Then you will automatically import your contacts in. With one click, you can blast them.
Facebook lets you do that,
It used to do that. It used to let us do that. You
but
know?
now they're getting more strict because of competitors.
That's true.
Right,
That's true.
right. Okay, so then came 2015 where you were trying to monetize Ummah Land. That's
Yes.
where Halal Ad came in?
That is correct. Yeah. As I said, to make the Umalan work, you need a lot of substantial investments. So, because you see, at that time, you easily give up instead of what we're saying, okay, what should we do to speed up the process? You know, because as I said, our idea was to earn money from ads. So what we said is, okay, if you this is what we want to do, what instead of just using our own traffic, can we build a platform where we can actually monetize other people's traffic as well? There were, as you know, there are Muslim sites, there are Muslim apps, and that's where we started the Halal like 16, 18 months ago, and that's how the idea came through as well.
I see. So does that mean from 2013 until 2015, Halal or Ummah Land was not earning any revenue?
It was earning revenue from ads partially, but also from we did other partnerships like how to say it. We did like bundles. Like in Ramadan, we were putting a lot of experts together. They were selling their courses. That's one way. Another way was we also had a fundraising platform module inside Umalan. So we were raising funds. We raised close to 400 or 500,000.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
And it is amazing, but we were just getting only 5% of that amount, not all of them.
I see. Fundraising for
It's
like
yeah.
Islamic Relief and these type of organizations.
That's true.
Oh, excellent. That's very clever. When were you able to quit your consulting jobs?
I think around 2015, I guess.
2015 is when you quit. Okay, so for 2 years you were doing these two things at the same time.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about focus. I think I'm really interested in this topic because there's a lot of books that talk about like you should be focused on one thing only. If it doesn't work, fail fast, move on, do your next thing. What do you think about this mantra, this philosophy?
That's a good one. Focusing on one thing, it makes a lot of sense. And trying a lot of things also makes a lot of sense. But to be honest, at this point, with what we do, we don't seem to be doing that. Because if you look at our traction, we've been trying to launch a couple of things together. And you know what may happen is, in a couple of years, I will be able to tell whether it was a wise thing to do or maybe not wise thing to do. But our way is looking at the market is right now, if you ask us as a startup, right? You can call it like a Cloudy or Halad or Moland. And there are some more you may not even heard of. They're coming up in the pipeline. Probably sometime this week we're going to launch another one. It's called Inflow. It's like a Quora. And another one we recently launched called Me and Email. It's a Muslim email marketing.
Okay.
At this point, it doesn't make sense to anybody. We are just up everywhere launching stuff up. But I think in the, at least our view is, we are just right now building the dots. But our focus area is the marketing for Muslims, right? This is the area we want to dominate. To do that, we believe not only the platform, we also need to build the media as well, even with our limited resources. And the only way to do that is the crowdsourcing. So let me tell you this. So we're right now building the dots, inshallah, if things go well, later point, we may even connect them. But if, inshallah, if things work out, we may be able to pull it off as a platform or a set of platforms where you can come and we'll be able to easily market to your product or service to the whole entire Muslim generation if you do it properly. If not, we just fail miserably and we'll move on to the next thing. We just don't take it the failure as a personal. It's just a lesson. God, Allah is teaching a lesson. Just keep learning and you move forward.
Okay, you've talked a lot about failure, and this is another favorite topic of mine because it's very difficult to deal with, as you probably know. Can you tell me specific examples of how you have failed in the past?
How we failed in the past. I mean, the question. I think there are. I don't even, because here's the thing, right? We can, if you look at let's talk about Ummah, for example, right? Is it a failure or not? The question is, it depends how you look. Maybe it is because we set up the project. We have the growing number of users, but we don't have the budget to make it fulfilled as it is state. Is it a failure? Yeah, we can call it easily failure, right? But at the same time, it taught us lessons, the way things to do with that. But for us, this project is like it's like a maintenance mode. But once we have the funds, we may come back to it and make it work at a bigger scale. But the lessons come from it about to launch the halal ad, right? The lessons that come through the marketing agencies, other things that are coming forward is we are learning from them and moving it forward. So in terms of the lesson, I mean, the number of failures, I can give you a couple of dozens of them, right? But how would I put it?
Do you consider Ummah Land as a failure personally?
I mean, if a journal is a platform, it is, because right now we have 300,000 members. We don't have the funds to make it forward as of now. Yeah, it is a failure. But do I consider it as a general or as a failure in the long run? That I don't think so. But the time will tell more properly once we execute some of our ideas. Then like after a decade or so, if you still fail, then yeah, it is. Then if not, sometimes with things, this is what happens about some of the project is you try to run, it doesn't work the way you tend to be, then you have to pivot. You have to pivot and try again. We are in that phase right now, not as a way it, but you will see, inshallah. So after a couple of years, if it doesn't work, then we can call it. But for now as it is, yeah, as it is, I would say it, which is hard to describe, isn't it? Like for your own project, but yeah, it's of them, right? But we don't see it as a total failure because this is what we're working towards right now in the big stage. A couple of launch level stuff.
Is the language here that I'm using, is the failure, the word failure, is that a bad word to go to describe this? Because it's negative, right?
Yeah, it is. But here's the thing. Let's put the things in a proper context. You can ask the same thing, like success. Is it success or not, right?
Right.
If you just take the shallow, like the very first meaning of the success. So what is success? If you ask anybody, Muslim, non-Muslim, they say, okay, success, if you look at the world, who are successful people? In our society right now, successful people are those with the money, right?
Right.
Those with the fame and all the stuff. In that sense, is it success or not? No. But as I said right in the beginning, you have everything we do, everything the Muslim does, is because of the intention, right?
Right.
It goes back to the intention. Our intention is to inspire things go. Even by the launch, even inspire one person, for us, it's a success, right? So I'm just putting things in the context of our everyday life. Is at that point, it's not a success yet. Let's call it, it's not a success yet. But the other platforms we are launching now, everything is building the dots. Once we connect them properly, maybe it will be. Even if it doesn't be, in the long run, we see it as a success. We learn things, but in the contemporary success, the terms, maybe it's not. That's what I'm trying to convey.
That's totally fair. How do you have to remind yourself? Like, do you remind yourself daily that this is my overall goal, my intention here is way broader than so-called financial success?
Yes, I mean that's something. The reality, maybe not every day, but at least a couple of times a week, you have to remind yourself. Especially especially when you're trying to make the ends meet, right? Because every time you do, you have to remember, because here's the thing. Remember, for any of us here, we can easily get another job, right? The corporate job, and we can pay us. Every time you remember, the reason you're not doing that is because you're believing in something greater may come out of this, right?
Right. So I think it's fair to say that you view failure in some of these cases as like a stepping stone that allows you to move on to the next thing that hopefully bigger and better and so on, right?
Exactly.
With how like 350,000 customers or users might not seem like a lot, but a lot of people don't have 350,000 users. Let's face it. So how did you go about? I remember in Irfan's interview, he mentioned that you went to Malaysia to promote Umaland. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Actually, yes. I'm just because I've been to Malaysia a couple of times. One of the things we went to Malaysia to not necessarily promote Umaland, but mainly about to raise funds for Umaland.
Okay.
We almost once actually closing a brand, but one thing it didn't go through was that investor they wanted a exclusive deal for them. And they were going to if you went for this deal, the Umaland would be closed for a specific type of users, not to everybody. That's why we didn't go through because we believe sometimes, maybe it's not the right timing.
What users did they want to close it to?
To their own, because it was a kind of media company. They were concentrated only on their users. They didn't want anybody others. Because we don't believe in this vision. We want to make it accessible for everybody.
I see. So you weren't going to Malaysia and you weren't traveling around to promote Umaland. You were doing fundraising.
Yes.
I see. Okay. With Halal Ad, looks like things were looking a lot better because in the client list I see huge names like BBC, UN, Virgin, Huffington Post. How did these come about?
Yes. There are two things you need to know about Halal Ad, right? Halal Ad, up until, because another lesson, right? Up until recently, couple of weeks ago, Halal Ad was just an ad platform.
Okay.
Just ad platform. You come and put stuff. And I have to be honest with you that those clients you see, if you go to Halal Ad on the top, we take our clients. You can see the many Islamic brands. But those brands, like for example BBC, there's the Virgin, etc. They are not directly Halal Ad's clients to put their business as ad platform. But since then, we just expanded Halal Ad to be not only just an ad platform, but a marketing agency. Because then now we are working with many Muslim experts as well. So some people do Facebook advertising, some people do Google advertising, some people do design, some people do web development, So we are right now, in terms of teams, probably we are close 60, 70 people,
60, 70 people, okay.
Yes. However, again, do you remember I was talking about it's not about your resource, but how resourceful you are, right? We, at this point, we cannot hire 60, 70 people, but instead what we do is we work with them on a project basis because they work under Halal Ad. When the project comes in, we work with them on the project, and then, but still the person is a Halal Ad. So this way we can do this larger amount of projects coming in to make it work. So those clients you just mentioned, they come under that group. They're not necessarily putting them inside the advertising Halal Ad, but we are working one way or another. We're working with them.
I see. Okay, I'm gonna have to dig a little bit deeper into this.
No problem.
So, are these contractors? These 60, 70 people, are they contractors that are working on a specific project?
Out of them, 60 probably contractors, but not as individual level. But some of them that come with individuals. Some of them are like companies. We work directly with them.
I see. And you hire them to do a specific job.
Yes, the ideal is because here's what happened, right? On Halal Ad, we do the advertising platform, but we usually get a lot of requests. Can you guys help with advertising on Facebook? Can you guys help with development? We used to say no. We want to focus. Again, remember the focus. We want to do focus. But before it was just small companies, but then it started happening as the larger companies, like in Islamic space, begin to come and say, "Hey guys, can you help us with this one?" And we're just, "Hey, we go and hire guys," and so we did, but it wasn't successful because we didn't understand the market. It was costing them a lot. Then, it kicked us and said, hey, maybe we should talk to people, experts, and bring them on board, and we should offering the services, as under one proof, and we reached out to people, and they liked the idea, and they started offering them. And then this is how we're offering those services. So today, when the people come in, they can use the Halal without our intervention. But if they need help, with the marketing, or content marketing, and in terms of marketing, right? So we are here to help, and even we can help with the mobile app development as well. If they need the design, whatever we need, as a partner, we can help them. Some people need one or two things. Some people need all of them, depending on their budget and resources. And we are happy to help. And that's why we can we can still build the platform. We can also help other people.
Right. Well. So how can you give me an example of which client you're saying some large clients started coming to you? Like, can you give me an example of which client came?
Yeah, I mean, there are many, but one of them, for the recent ones, is we were talking with one of this halal investment platform from New York. It's called Viking Invest. They started a store a couple of months ago, right? And they want to deal with. And right now, as we speak, they're in the process of launching their product. So what they do is that they are a halal investment platform. Like, you can actually put your money, like starting from $500 to their platform, and they will invest only into halal stocks based on you. And you can choose a portfolio, aggressive, moderate, or super aggressive, whatever. And you will see they will invest in sukuks and etc. You will see on the dashboard, But all of everything is halal investments.
So they came to you, and what did they want from you?
So what they want is they come to us and say, guys, can you help us to get the first 1,000 leads? We don't care how you guys get it. This is how much we want to pay. We said, okay, cool. And we sit down together with them. And we said, okay, this is what we have. We have Halal, we have the new email, we have the Facebook, etc., etc. And we started the campaign. Alhamdulillah, we ran the campaign for a month or something, right? And we already got a couple of thousand leads for them, and they are very happy. Alhamdulillah, we will be helping to be even more coming month.
So you used your internal resources for this client, is that right, or did you outsource?
Not only internal and external as well, right? We use our internal and the Halal and Meme as well, but we also use the Facebook and AdWords, Google, and the Bing as well. So all of them combined, we use them.
How are you finding these outside consultants that you're hiring?
Because that's a good question. Because I know a couple of people I was a part of this group on Facebook, and I did to know a couple of people, right? Who, for example, in Facebook advertising or brand and animation or AdWords. So I reached out to them and said, guys, would like to be part of this thing. And they said, yeah, would love to, and that's how we get in touch.
Okay, so you're just using your personal network.
Yes.
Okay. That's great. How did Cloudy come about?
Yeah, so as I told you, we had a couple 100,000 users, right? If you want to send email for them, the regular solutions gets quite pricey. It's like MailChimp,
right?
Because most of these guys, they charge based on your user list, they charge you monthly fees, and so for us, it wasn't feasible, so we had to come up with something. And we actually came up with this. When we were using Amazon, we use Amazon heavily in Amazon server. So we were using Amazon has a service, simple in the server. So we started using that one internally for our processes. And I remember once I was in this exhibition, right? We were talking about this Halal and how they were using, and they said they were not interested in Halal. And I was just asking, hey, what's your problem? Can you tell me what problems can I solve? And they were saying, email is not a problem, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. Then I said, maybe, hey, but if I offer them, would you use it, instead of, don't worry about your list, and this, yeah. So then we were just connecting the dots. Then come back, and in a couple of weeks, then we already had a service. Then I said, maybe, we are not only one, so we begin to offer this service. This is how the Cloudy started, like 8 months ago. And since then, we have already sent probably 10-15 million. But just last 30 days, we just sent over 3 million emails. So wow. Just 100 days, it's growing. And we already have non-Muslim and Muslim brands on board. We have already some large Muslim brands on board as well, like Islamic Online University. We have a couple of 100,000 members, and they're quite happy. Their list is also huge, like ours.
Very nice. Who was these guys at the exhibition that you were talking to?
I was in a halal exhibition in Turkey, and so we were halal tourism. This is where we were exhibiting with Hal Ad, right?
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I mean, just it's like a client, privacy. We don't want to mention their names, but yeah,
Okay.
but a lot of different Muslim brands.
So you make a point of going to these conferences and exhibitions. That's an important part of your marketing strategy.
Yes, I mean, especially for Hal Ad, because online is good, but when you meet people, human in the flesh, it's a different experience. We used to do that a lot in 2016, 2017. We haven't been to events yet, but alhamdulillah, we have already 2 or 3 invitations as a speaker. We'll see. I think it will be a good thing to come and see people. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. All right, Maruf, I really appreciate your time. Jazakallah khair for everything.
It's a pleasure.
And I look forward to your upcoming apps. And by the way, I have to tell you that Cloudy is an amazing solution because right now I'm using MailChimp myself, and it's very, very costly. So I think you're going to save me some money.
No problem.
All right, Maruf, let me...
It's my pleasure. So if anyone just listening to this, if you get questions, can I just mention one thing?
Yes, please.
As I said, right, we are crazy, we are launching stuff. So all I want to do, people that just take this one, is you remember, you said the reason you're doing this, you want to help out people, right? To start their businesses, you want to do that. I think everything started with questions, as a Muslim. So if you may have a lot of questions. I, as a person, will not be able to answer all of them. But what I really suggest, you can also mention them, brother, in the below the link. We'll be launching this week to the new portal. It's like Quora, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we are launching a question answer portal for Muslims. It's called ilmflow.com. So it will be asked by questions by Muslims and answered by Muslims. It doesn't have to be only fiqh related. It could be anything. It could open a business. It could be this and that. Ask no wrong question. As long as it's sincere, there's no wrong question. Just ask your questions. If it's related to startups, entrepreneurship, marketing, I will try to answer them myself. If it's something else, I'm gathering up all the experts. I actually, alhamdulillah, I have like 40 experts in different categories: Muslim parenting, Facebook advertising, whatever you call it, right? Just visit us at ilmflow.com and ask any questions. We'll get back to you, Muslim experts, and answer your questions. We would like you to succeed, inshallah, in this world and after.
Okay.
Your success will be our success. So this way, we also get a reward, inshallah, here and hereafter in the long run.
The website was ilmfeed.com?
No, ilmflow.com.
Oh, sorry, ilmflow.com.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Yeah, excellent. I will make sure to share that with you, with the audience here. And hopefully that goes really well, inshallah, for you. Jazakallah khair, Brother Maruf.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.